All right. So Robert is asking, do you guys believe respect is earned? This may seem like a simple question, but this has been on my mind. I heard Charlie Kirk say that, and he's a Christian.
So this is actually something that even Wendy and I have talked a lot about, and we really have reached a conclusion that yes, it is earned, and it's important, especially like in the husband wife relationship, where there's a lot of guys who just presume that they're entitled to respect because they're a guy, and and that leads to some very dangerous dynamics in the relationship, and a sense of entitlement, and there really isn't entitlement anywhere in the Bible. Like, I don't believe God even believes I mean, on one level, yes, because he is God, he is entitled to our our obedience and our respect and all these things, but God doesn't use that as the reason for it. And I think the most important verse on this subject is First John 4:19, and it says, "We love him because he first loved us." God starts the respect cycle, or he takes it up one level even to the love cycle by first loving us. It's by first loving us that God then hopes to engender and even provide the love in our heart to then send back to him. So it becomes a cycle. Then God loves us, then we, because of his love, respond to his love with love back to him, and it keeps going. And it's so interesting when you look at relationships of men and women, and you just go to wedding after wedding after wedding, and it usually goes along the lines of, when you hear their story, that the wife wasn't interested in the guy whatsoever, just didn't care, and the guy kept pursuing, kept showing different ways that he does love her, he really loves her, he's really in love with her, he wants to spend his whole life with her. And then one day, one moment, or maybe slowly over time, the woman comes to realize, wait, I have a gem of a guy here who's loving me, and I love that, and his love eventually turns into love back to him. And so really, I think it's the same way with respect. I heard that there's this famous coach called Myron Golden, who he nailed it when he's talking about branding and personal branding. And he said that you can create a personal brand two ways. You can do it by intention or by neglect. And so by being neglectful, by, not being true to your word, by always showing up late, by, whatever the words you use, all these things, you can create a negative brand for yourself. In a sense, a negative brand is almost bad respect, people not respecting you. But by intention, by being intentional, by the way we show up, by the way we treat others, by holding true to our promises, by treating people well, we build that good personal brand, or in a sense, a good reputation, a good name. So it becomes earned over a period of time. So those are my thoughts. Wendy, Tina, anything you'd like to add?
I'm go for it, Wendy. If you have
No,
a thought.
dive in.
I think that's really awesome, and I think too, when it comes to respect, um, like the Bible does teach, wives, we should respect our husbands, and again, like that's something that's done out of based on you know a lot of things. And I think, respect is one of those things where it is earned in a way. Like, I think it's something that, um, it's hard for me to explain this, but it's like my father, I respect him because, he's my dad, period. But at the same time, how, the level of respect I have for him, like that grows with time and with relationship. And so it definitely is earned. And so like if my dad's awesome, but if my dad did something terrible, I would still respect him to a certain degree. Like, okay, he's the human that brought me into this world, but because he does great things and I see good things in his character throughout my life, I have to, that respect for him grows. So in a sense it is earned, but it does take time. And so I think that there always should be a certain level of respect for everybody. I guess that's where I'm just like, it is earned, but I think everybody deserves a certain level of respect, from the start. And then, that respect can then grow, or it can obviously then dwindle, based on kind of how that person, interacts with you. So if that makes sense. But I do think there's a certain level of respect that everybody should be given, just because we're, made in God's image. We're all humans, we're all, people. So I hope that that's a
I,
little
I,
bit
I
more
like
I'm
that.
thinking.
I like that response of we should respect everybody because everyone is made in God's image.
Mhm.
And therefore, by respecting each other, we actually are respecting God because He created us. He created every one of us. So
But I think it depends on what we're talking about when we say respect, right? So there's like respect where you say like, I consider you a valuable person, or something of worth. I mean, there's that level
Yeah.
of respect, but then there's also the respect where you asked me to do something, and because it was you, I will go and do it. And those could be two totally different things, right?
yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And I think that's where kind of Tina's kind of saying like respect is earned also, like a higher level of respect is
Mhm.
earned. If you
Yeah.
know that someone is consistently looking out for your best interest and taking care of you, and then they ask you to do something, then you do it because like they've done so much for you. And so it's like I trust this person, I respect this person, I know that they're operating always in my best interest or the best interest of others. And like and so there's a greater return, willingness there to return. And that kind of gets to the point I was going to make, which is that respect is reciprocal, just like love is reciprocal. The more you give, the more you receive. And that I think is a key principle that a lot of people are like, I demand respect, but how much do they give respect to the person they're demanding their respect from?
Mhm.
In not just in their
Mhm.
thoughts, but in their actions towards that person. And I think that's a really key aspect of respect that a lot of people miss, because the more you respect and treat another person with respect, the more likely they are going to treat you with respect, and the more likely you're going to feel respected by them, because often what we put out is what we get back.
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate you sharing that too, Wendy, because I think, when it comes to, like you're saying, respect is reciprocal, like it does grow with time, it grows with relationship. And I'm just saying, yeah, like everybody deserves a certain flat line, a baseline of respect. Because some people just are like, I don't know you, I don't care. And they just treat everybody that doesn't matter to them like garbage. And I've seen that,
Mhm.
and I'm sure other people have seen that, like people on the road, they have no respect for anybody else's life or whatever. They just do whatever because they don't care. But I
Mhm.
think everybody deserves, a certain level of respect baseline. But yeah, once you know somebody and you build that relationship, for sure, your respect will grow with time as, they prove, themselves to, be respecting you, as well as doing things that are respectable. And I think that's really where, respect comes into play too, is just living a life that is respectable. Are your actions respectable? And you can't demand respect, kind of like, you're saying, Wendy, if you don't do things that earn that respect. So you know, that's definitely key in there. And I see Robert has another comment. Wendy, if you want to read that.
He says, I understand where you're coming from. I always thought that you should give respect because it's a lovely thing to do. I think you guys might be talking about a reputation type of respect.
I'm not talking about a reputation. I'm just talking about basic respect of, human life, basic respect of, your, thoughts and beliefs, basic respect of you as a person, as your physical body. Like I would respect your boundaries, that kind of thing. Um, so I guess that's more what it is. But yeah, and I mean, I guess your reputation could, I would respect your reputation, not to try to ruin it for, no reason or something like that. But I'm talking more like the respect in a relationship of, anybody, because in essence, we're all connected in some way in the human family.
Mhm.